Hello, friends. Welcome to Be and By IAS and your guide, Jasbir Singh Bajaj. Today, we are going to cover a very small but very important topic, which covers a very important issue which has federal connotations also, unitary connotations also, and the polity of the nation, which I had covered in my another video on federalism in great detail. But this is a part of the constitution, a very small, only 4 articles, which we are going to discuss today, which will be covering a portion of your general studies polity paper, and also will be beneficial for the law optional aspirants also, because there have been some questions on this particular topic, which we will be discussing at the end of our session today. This is about the union and its territories. Its importance lies in the very existence of the Union of India, how it is constituted, and what are the territories. Okay, so we'll just go through that in this discussion. Article 1, we'll start with the name and territory of the Union. A very, very important definition of Union of India, which reflects on the overall polity, overall structure, political structure, and governance of the country is concerned, is given in the very first article. If we look at any statute, generally the first section or the first article in the case of the Constitution tells us about the object of our that particular statute. And from where we start with the very definition of that object. And in our case, in the case of Constitution of India, which is the supreme law of the land, it is the what is India? So the first article says, India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. This is the key word, union of states. We will go through that in little detail. The states and the territories. Now I'll underline the important terminology which has been used and which we have to concentrate, analyze and discuss today. उसको अच्छी तरह से हमें समझना पड़ेगा, हर एक वो टर्म जिसको मैं अंडरलाइन कर रहा हूं. तो पहले हमने देखा यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स, और सेकंड आर्टिकल में है the states and the territories thereof shall be specified in the first schedule. So states, territories and the first schedule, इनको भी मार्क करते हैं. आगे हम फर्दर इनको डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे. The territory of India shall comprise the territories of the states, the union territories specified in the first schedule, and such other territories as may be acquired. अब acquired को भी आप नोट कर लीजिए. Okay, because we will be using these terms in a little detail in the subsequent part of our discussion today. तो जब हम यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स की बात करते हैं, तो what do we mean by a union? Union comes into being not because of any agreement, not because of any treaty. It is the states who have merged themselves into the Union of India. Now the states are the units of that, and it is a kind of a structure which is more of a federal in nature with lot of unitary features, which we have already discussed in a different discussion in my another video on federalism, as I mentioned. But in Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, during the formation of the Constitution, in the Constituent Assembly, he was the chairman of the drafting committee. Now, what he has used very key, words. One is the Indian Federation. This is very important. Indian Federation means the makers of the Constitution itself had an idea of an Indian Federation. That means they wanted to give the shape of the Constitution of a federal in nature. So, Indian Federation then is a union. How it is union? Because it is indissoluble. That means ये dissolve नहीं की जा. It cannot be dissolved. Once any state, any unit has become a part of union, it cannot secede. It cannot go away. क्यों? क्योंकि they are not their merger. They are coming into being as part, an integral part of the union is not because of any agreement. So, they will be given a separate, there will be a separation of powers between the union and the states, the center and the states. But that separation of powers will be to give it a true federal character. Okay? And also during those separation of powers, there will be certain provisions which will be giving it a unitary character also. That is why sometimes we call it quasi-federal in nature. So, the main issue here is whether once a state becomes an integral part of the union, the union itself is indissoluble. डिसॉल्व नहीं किया जा सकता इसको. एक बार यूनियन बन गई तो इट्स ए परमानेंट फीचर. एंड नो स्टेट हैज ए राइट टू सेपरेट. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एक बार जो हमारी स्टेट्स हैं, देयर आर 29 स्टेट्स, दे कैन नॉट, इफ एनी स्टेट passes a resolution in the state legislature that we want to recede from the Union of India. मान लीजिए वो एक रेजोल्यूशन पास कर देते हैं अपनी लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली में, बट दे कैन नॉट एज पर द प्रोविजंस ऑफ आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. सो स्टेट्स हैव गिवन अप देयर राइट टू गेट अवे फ्रॉम द यूनियन. वंस दे आर पार्ट ऑफ द यूनियन, दे will forever remain a part of the union. So they cannot separate from the Indian Union. Country's one integral unit, beside the fact that it consists of different states for the convenience of administration, ये है federal character. क्योंकि why they have been given certain powers under the scheme of separation of powers is for administrative convenience, so that they can run efficiently, democratically and have certain amount of sovereignty. उनको कुछ powers दी गई हैं, कुछ authority दी गई है under various provision of the constitution, so that जो state की administration है वो अच्छे से चला सकें, और उसके साथ ही पूरी कंट्री, पूरे इंडिया की एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन भी उसी हिसाब से चले और अच्छे से चले. फॉर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कन्वीनियंस दे हैव बीन गिवन सर्टेन पावर्स. ओके, नाउ वी कम टू द यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया एंड टेरिटरी ऑफ इंडिया. यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया, एज वी हैव सीन, इज द यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स. नंबर 1 क्या होता है इसमें? स्टेट्स एंजॉइंग द स्टेटस ऑफ बीइंग मेंबर्स ऑफ द फेडरल सिस्टम एंड शेयरिंग पावर्स विद द यूनियन. स्टेट्स वो यूनिट्स हैं जो फेडरेशन का पार्ट है, दो इट्स नॉट ए ट्रूली फेडरल इन कैरेक्टर, ट्रूली फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर, but it has predominantly federal characteristics. That is why the states are the units who have got certain sovereignty and a part of Indian Federation. So they are members of the federal system and share powers with the union. Now we come to what is territory of India. टेरिटरी होता है पूरा आपका जो जमीन का स्ट्रक्चर है, जो आपके जो इवन इंक्लूडिंग द टेरिटोरियल वाटर्स विच go up to the 12 nautical miles into the sea, which we have discussed in a great detail in our earlier one of the videos. So territory of India, now it consists of not only the original union territories, that means we have the states, number one, we have the union territories, UTs, okay, like Delhi, Chandigarh, Puducherry, etc. So, and latest being Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So, they are the first, what consists of the territory of India is the states, union territories and such other territories as may be acquired. इसलिए मैंने आपको कहा था कि ये एक की टर्म है, acquired. By whom? By India in future. मतलब जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाया गया उस वक्त जो स्टेट्स उसके पार्ट, यूनियन का पार्ट बनी, जो यूनियन टेरिटरीज उस टाइम पार्ट बनी, वो तो ओरिजिनली हो गई. उसके अलावा अगर कोई नई स्टेट्स बनती हैं, कोई नई यूनियन टेरिटरीज बनती हैं और लेटर ऑन इन फ्यूचर बाद में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के ऑपरेशन में के आने के बाद जो भी टेरिटरीज एक्वायर की जाती हैं, एक्विजिशन हम देखेंगे कैसे एक्वायर होती है और उनका लीगल स्टेटस क्या है एज पर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. सो दे आर एक्वायर्ड in future, they form part of territory. So here, if we have to differentiate between Union of India, it consists of the states. The territory of India, it consists of three parts. This is the third part, by way of acquisition. Now we come to another important case. The Indian Constitution is essentially a federal one. Okay, now I'll not again and again discuss this federal character because we have already explained and understood the word federal and in particularly in Indian context. We come to Article 1, Clause 2. States that the states and the territories will be specified in the फर्स्ट शेड्यूल. मैंने आपको शुरू में ही कहा था, इस टर्म को भी आप देख लेंगे क्योंकि जो भी टेरिटरी ऑफ इंडिया का पार्ट हैं, चाहे वो स्टेट्स हैं, चाहे वो यूनियन टेरिटरीज हैं, चाहे वो बाद में एक्वायर की गई स्टेट्स होती हैं या रीऑर्गेनाइजेशन होता है, वो सब फर्स्ट शेड्यूल ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखी जाती हैं. तो इसलिए फर्स्ट शेड्यूल को याद रखना बहुत जरूरी है और मेंशन करना भी. Now we come to acquisition of territories. Acquisition कैसे होता है? Acquisition होता है, acquisition का मतलब क्या है? To get sovereignty of that particular territory. Sovereignty हम कई बार डिस्कस कर चुके हैं. इसका मतलब होता है एक तरह से फुल कंट्रोल, आज़ादी, आपको लॉज बनाने की, आपको उसके एक्सटर्नल मैटर्स की, इंटरनल मैटर्स की, उसके हर तरह की एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, इवन एग्जिस्टेंस के ऊपर आपका पूरा कंट्रोल होता है. दैट इज द सॉवरिटी विदाउट एनी एक्सटर्नल इंटरफेरेंस. किसी तरह का भी कोई एक्सटर्नल इंटरफेरेंस ना हो या उसके ऊपर कोई कंट्रोल ना हो. तो कंट्रोल जब इंडिया का हो जाएगा तो उस वक्त वो टेरिटरी की सॉवरेनिटी हमारे कंट्रोल में, इंडियन गवर्नमेंट के कंट्रोल में आ जाएगी. तो टेरिटरी एक्वायर करने का मतलब क्या हुआ? उसके ऊपर सॉवरेनिटी को कंट्रोल करना, टू एक्वायर द सॉवरेनिटी ऑफ दैट टेरिटरी. नाउ in very important case of reference case of the Berubari Union and Exchange of Enclaves, 1960 का ये केस है, we will discuss just now. No parliamentary legislation is required to acquire a foreign territory. क्यों? See, there is a very important message given in this particular judgment. When any nation, for that matter, not only India, acquires or gets sovereignty over a foreign territory, no law is required. Why? Because it is the sovereign right of every nation to acquire a foreign territory. किसी के ऊपर चाहे जीत हासिल की जाए, maybe through war, maybe through agreement, maybe through treaty, maybe through any other way, that particular state or that particular territory wants to come and merge into Indian Union, they are welcome. So they automatically become a part of the Indian Union. For that, no law has to be required. This is what has been held in the Berubari Union case. But at the same time, it does not confer a power on Parliament to acquire a foreign territory. Parliament कोई ऐसा लॉ नहीं पास कर सकते कि आप जाइए और उस फॉरेन टेरिटरी को हम एक्वायर कर लें. हम किसी भी तरीके से एक्वायर कर सकते हैं. It is an inherent power of a sovereign nation for which no parliamentary law is required, no parliamentary power is to be conferred on the nation. अब हम foreign territories की बात करते हैं, तो if we start with Goa, Daman, Diu and Nagar Haveli, they were under the control of Portuguese and they were formally acquired by India in 1961. So, Goa, Daman, Diu and Dadra Nagar Haveli, इनको एक्वायर किया गया. कब? 1961 में पोर्तुगीज से. गोवा बाद में एक स्टेट बना दी गई 1987 में. उसके बाद हम सेकंड केस देखते हैं. पौंडीचेरी पहले नाम था, अब हम उसको पुदुचेरी कहते हैं. तो पुदुचेरी was under the French control. So it was acquired in 1962. Puducherry. Okay. Now we come to the latest acquisition. The latest one is in 1975 is that of Sikkim. Sikkim was a foreign country, a kingdom under Chogyal. Now that particular territory was acquired by way of a merger into Indian Union by the Kingdom of Sikkim. So it did not require any parliamentary law for that. A settlement of a bond. Now another important case which was after the Berubari case was Magan Bhai, Ishwar Bhai Patel versus Union of India and another. A settlement of a boundary dispute. अब ये बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट एक टर्म है, बाउंड्री डिस्प्यूट का सेटलमेंट. अभी समझते हैं. कैनॉट देयरफॉर बी हेल्ड टू बी ए सेशन ऑफ टेरिटरी. अब एक बेरुबरी केस में there was another important observation by the judiciary that okay, you can acquire any territory into Indian Union, but you cannot cede the Indian territory to any other foreign nation. This dispute was between Indo-Pak settlement of certain areas which included the Berubari. So in that case, it was held, okay, you have the inherent power to acquire, but the Constitution of India does not give you any power to cede our territory. Now, what happens is, if there is an agreement, and agreement between maybe a neighboring nation or any other nation to adjust the boundaries. There's some boundary dispute and you have to adjust boundaries, and in that case some changes occur on the state, but that will remain the part of India. Okay, it will never be ceded to the other country, but in this case it was held that a settlement of a boundary dispute cannot therefore held to be cession of the territory. It doesn't mean we have ceded the territory to that country, but there is a border dispute and it has been amicably resolved. So in that case, there is some adjustment of the boundaries which will not amount to cession. Now we come to admission and establishment of new states. अभी हमने देखा acquisition of foreign territories or the other territories into Indian Union. Now we come to another important part which is purely of unitary in character. That is why it has given, we call that Indian Constitution is federal in character, but it has got a very strong unitary features. And this particular feature has got a very strong unitary character. Now, what is that? The power to admit into the union new states. Number one, power to establish new states. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि आप नई टेरिटरीज को एक एज ए स्टेट यूनियन का पार्ट बना सकते हैं. दूसरा, you can create new states either from among the existing states, or a new territory can be named as a state, or there can be change in the character of the state, the territorial character of the state. So we'll see later on, how the states can be, their boundaries can be readjusted, new states can be created, or their names can be changed, as happened in the case of Uttaranchal. It was earlier Uttarakhand, changed to Uttaranchal. We have, like the case of Andhra Pradesh, bifurcated into what? Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. We have the example of Uttar Pradesh, which has been bifurcated into Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand first, then Uttaranchal. A territory acquired by the government of India, though factually becomes territory of India from the date of its acquisition, the formal or legal assimilation is brought about only by the parliamentary legislation. वो क्यों? क्योंकि उसको हमने फर्स्ट शेड्यूल में ऐड किया है. तो इसलिए जब वो लॉ पास होगा, इसलिए कहा आर्टिकल में ही कहा गया, पार्लियामेंट बाय लॉ can do this, acquire, create new states, etc. So Parliament has to pass a law to, not for acquisition, but for getting it into the union as a part of the integral part of the Union of India. The basic, the basic test as has been done in the Keshavanand Bharati case, that if you admit, you don't need to amend the constitution. Okay? Though in Keshavanand Bharati case, it was primarily on the amendment of the constitution, but a very, very important term has been established, a test has been established, that is the test of basic structure of the constitution. It is not defined anywhere, but whenever we admit any new state, create any new state, and then we make it a part of the first schedule, it should conform to the basic structure of the Constitution. It has been upheld in the important case of R.C. Podial versus Union of India in 1993 by the Supreme Court. Now, we come to Article 3, formation of new states, alteration of areas, boundaries, or names of existing states. Parliament may by law form a new state by separation of territory from any existing state, or by uniting two or more states or parts of states, or by uniting any territory into a part of any other state. Parliament has got tremendous power under this article, purely unitary in character, that they can make all these big alterations. See, in true federal system, states once formed, they cannot be changed without their own consent. But here, Parliament needs no consent from the state. They can pass the law. How? We will see. And they can do all these big alterations, big changes, big modifications. So it can increase the area of any state, can diminish the area of any state, alter the boundaries of any state, alter the name of any state. As I told you, Uttaranchal, earlier it was Uttarakhand. So this is how the name was changed. The boundaries have been changed, diminishing of the state, the area of any state, and increasing the area of any state. Now, what is the procedure? Okay, now we'll look at the procedure, how the Parliament has to pass that law and what procedure has to be followed by the Parliament. The first step is the bill has to be introduced. Okay? But before the bill is introduced in either of the two houses, that is either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, it has to be recommended by the President of India. Very important. Must remember this. The key, if you miss on this, your answer will be totally wrong. You will be going, totally away from the track. So, recommendation of the president, prior recommendation of the president is required. Now, president makes a reference to the concerned state legislature. He just makes a reference. Please remember another keyword. He is not sending that bill for the consent or passage by the state legislature, but it makes only a reference. Now, and gives them a time limit, that within this time limit, you give your remarks, what you feel about that. What the state legislature, any resolution is passed by the state legislature on that particular bill, which is to be introduced in the Parliament later on. If the state legislature fails to express an opinion within the given time limit, then it is deemed that it has expressed its views. President wait नहीं करेंगे कि स्टेट ने एग्री किया है या नहीं किया, या उन्होंने कोई अपने व्यूज दिए हैं या नहीं दिए, within a stipulated time. And I tell you, this is only a consultation process and not concurrence. Concurrence of the state is not required. It is only sent for consultation. If they have any views on that, the views may be considered. It is not mandatory on part of the either president or the parliament to incorporate those views or to consider those views at all. It is only a consultation process. Now we come to a case law I mean, rather, there are 2-3 case laws which are very important. The judgments. Parliament can even take away the entire area of a state. मैंने बताया चाहे वो उसको खत्म ही कर दे पूरी स्टेट के, टू फॉर्म ए न्यू स्टेट, पुरानी स्टेट का खत्म करके उसको नई स्टेट बना दें. इंक्रीज द एरिया ऑफ अनदर स्टेट, एक स्टेट को खत्म किया, उसका नया एरिया दूसरी स्टेट में जोड़ दिया. दे हैव पावर. There is no constitutional guarantee of continuing existence of a state that existed at the commencement of the constitution or came into existence later. Wide power has been given. This is what the judicial interpretation is, and it still holds good, even in today's times. The diminution of the area of any state to which Article 3C refers postulates that the area diminishes from the state in question should and must continue to be part of the territory of India. मतलब अगर आपने किसी स्टेट का एरिया कम किया है या उसको खत्म किया है, दूसरी स्टेट में मर्ज कर दिया है, इंडियन स्टेट की टेरिटरी में ही रहेगा, उस टेरिटरी से बाहर नहीं जा सकता. पार्लियामेंट हैज नो पावर. द इंटेंशन सीम्स टू गिव एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू द स्टेट. अब मैं बात करें जो कंसल्टेशन पार्ट की बात है, टू एक्सप्रेस इट्स व्यूज विद इन द टाइम अलाउड. इफ द स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर फेल्स टू अवेल इटसेल्फ ऑफ दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी, सच फेलियर डज नॉट इनवैलिडेट द इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ द बिल. ये इस केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज upheld that, interpreted that. So now let us see the difference between Article 2 and Article 3. Article 2 talks about admission, establishment of new states which are not part of the union. That means acquisition. जो यूनियन का पहले पार्ट नहीं थी, उनको कैसे यूनियन का पार्ट बनाया जाए, ये आर्टिकल 2 कह रहा है. ठीक है. सो एडमिशन एंड एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ न्यू स्टेट्स विच वर नॉट अर्लियर पार्ट ऑफ द यूनियन, इंडियन यूनियन. आर्टिकल 3 क्या कह रहा है कि जो ऑलरेडी पार्ट ऑफ द यूनियन है स्टेट्स, वो उनमें चेंजेस करे जाएंगे इन एग्जिस्टिंग स्टेट्स इंक्लूडिंग यूनियन टेरिटरीज. तो ये दोनों में फर्क है. एक वो है जो नई टेरिटरीज की, नई स्टेट्स की बात कर रहा है, उनको यूनियन का, इंडियन यूनियन का पार्ट बनाने की बात कर रहा है आर्टिकल 2. आर्टिकल 3 जो ऑलरेडी यूनियन का पार्ट हैं स्टेट्स, उनको कैसे उनके अंदर स्टेट्स एंड यूनियन टेरिटरीज विद इन द टेरिटरी ऑफ यूनियन दे कैन बी चेंज्ड. नाउ आर्टिकल 4 allows for consequential changes in the फर्स्ट शेड्यूल. अब क्या होता है, आर्टिकल 2 और 3 में हमने देख लिया कैसे चेंजेस आते हैं थ्रू एक्विजिशन और बाय वे ऑफ मेकिंग एनी चेंजेस बाय पार्लियामेंट थ्रू ए लॉ. फर्स्ट शेड्यूल में क्या होता है, नेम्स ऑफ द स्टेट इन द यूनियन आर देयर. तो उसमें जो है आप फर्स्ट शेड्यूल के अंदर उसमें आपके नेम्स ऑफ द स्टेट हैं. जब आपने आर्टिकल 2 और 3 में एक्वायर कर ली या चेंजेस ले आए, दैट हैज टू बी इनकॉर्पोरेटेड इन द फर्स्ट शेड्यूल. ओके. फोर्थ शेड्यूल डील्स विद द नंबर ऑफ सीट्स अलॉटेड इन द राज्यसभा फॉर ईच स्टेट. सो जब एक बार चेंजेस हो गए तो नंबर ऑफ सीट्स में भी चेंज होगा. सो दैट इज मेंशन्ड इन फोर्थ शेड्यूल ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. अब मान लीजिए किसी वजह से हमने किसी ट्रीटी के अंडर या किसी सेटलमेंट डिस्प्यूट के अंदर, इफ वी हैव टू सीड सर्टेन टेरिटरी. अब उसमें क्या होता है, हमने कहा है कि एनी चेंजेस विच आर मेड इन परसुएंस ऑफ आर्टिकल 2 और 3 and incorporated as per Article 4 in the first schedule and the fourth schedule shall not amount to an amendment of the Constitution. क्यों नहीं होगा? क्योंकि हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में अमेंडमेंट नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम एक लॉ पास करके एक यूनियन के अंदर चेंजेस ला रहे हैं। उसमें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की अमेंडमेंट की कोई बात नहीं है। सो इट डजंट अमाउंट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट। बट इफ एज पर एनी ट्रीटी, इफ वी हैव टू cede certain territory or make changes in the territory of a particular state, in that case, though power of secession is not with the union, it's not given to the government, not given to the parliament. So how to go about that? But we have to honor the settlement of any border dispute or any international treaty or agreement or convention. So in that case, what is the way out? We have to amend the constitution. किसकी अमेंडमेंट होगी? फर्स्ट शेड्यूल की और फोर्थ शेड्यूल की, इनकी अमेंडमेंट होगी, तभी ही वो टेरिटरी चेंज हो सकती है। सो अदरवाइज एनी चेंजेस अंडर आर्टिकल 2, 3 और 4 shall not amount to amendment of the constitution, and whatever changes happen have to pass the test of basic structure of the constitution, which can be done by the judiciary through judicial review. So constitution will not treat any such law altering existing states or creating a new state as amendment under article 368. So it doesn't amount to amendment. But if any international treaty has to be honored, so in that case, if any changes, negative changes, positive तो है कि उसमें आ रहे हैं, तो it will not amount to amendment of the constitution. But अगर उसमें से जा रहा है, कोई हम निकाल रहे हैं, that requires the amendment of the constitution plus the test of basic structure. Friends, not many questions have been asked on this particular topic, but I didn't want to miss it since it is in the part 1 of the Constitution, which is part of our syllabus for the law optional, and also for other students, not only who are preparing for the civil services examination, but for other examinations like judicial services, to first understand the constitutional provisions. So we cannot leave out, even if it might be insignificant in the eyes of some of our friends, but yes, we should not miss any part of syllabus, and we must cover each and every part in great detail and learn the basics. So my endeavor is to make you understand the basics of every subject, every topic. So only 2 questions I could locate from the previous year's questions. You can go through them. What procedure would you suggest to the government of India where under an agreement between the government and a neighboring foreign country, a small portion of Indian territory comprised in state Y has to be ceded? मैंने अभी आपको बता दिया कि उसमें बेरोबरी केस में ही ये बताया गया है कि if it amounts to the cession of any territory, it requires constitutional amendment. That will be your answer for this question. A parliamentary bill providing for the reorganization of certain states in India inter alia provided for the division of state B into 3 units and for the annexation of one of the units to the neighboring states of C. The bill had been referred to the state legislatures concerned under Article 3 of the Constitution, and their views had been received. Meanwhile, the bill was substantially amended in Parliament. The bill, as passed by Parliament, provided for the formation of one composite unit to be known as State of B, with certain altered boundaries. The amendment bill was, however, not referred to the concerned state legislature for expression of their views. In view of this, a writ petition is filed in the State High Court, contending that the bill as enacted was ultra vires. आप आंसर बताइए and write the answer back to me in the light of our discussion today through email. For that, please visit our website www.bnbyias.com. Email to me on this email, or you can even contact me over this phone. If you have any doubts, you find any gaps or something missing, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I will answer all your queries within the shortest possible time. Very soon, we are starting our online live lectures on law. I'm not talking only of law optional for the civil services examination. I'm talking of law, which of course is primarily civil services examination oriented, but will be covering the entire gamut of law and will be covering various other services, including the judicial services also. So please visit my website to get updates, and I think in another less than 10 days time, I will be able to interact live through streaming to all my aspirants. And it will be live classes for more than 2 hours time. It will be interactive sessions, and I will be listening to you. I'll be answering your queries. I'll be telling you, training you on how to attempt the questions for both civil services examination and for other examinations wherever law is the main subject. Thank you very much. All the best.
For more videos, subscribe to BN by IAS and press the bell icon to never miss an update.